"The man's impossible." Lady Alanna Galway jabbed the letter with a forefinger. Sir Sterling James arched a brow. Lady Alanna, elegance personified, was a raven-haired beauty with a natural grace who held an unparalleled reputation as a woman of great composure. But upon reading the letter, this legendary composure had cracked. "Ethan Brodie was one of the best spies in His Majesty's service." She rose and placed both palms flat on the surface of a mahogany leather-topped desk. "A master of arms, marvellously keen-witted, unquestionably loyal. He's so very excellent at serving king and country." She let her voice trail away, then added in a distinctly sour tone, "But he's appallingly awful at living a normal life." Sterling permitted himself a smile. "Come now, surely he can't be the first man to find the season tedious enough to seek entertainment elsewhere." She pushed the letter across the desk. "Read it. He hasn't bothered to attend even one function where he might find a suitable wife. His excuse? Varnish. The letter is a practical ode to the stuff. He spends his every moment at work with James Sadler on their infernal hot air contraption. I swear the man's more interested in the silk skirts of a balloon than those of a woman." Sterling settled back in the leather-tufted chair and scanned the letter as Lady Alanna paced before the fire, the crackle of logs and soft swish of her burgundy gown the only sounds to be heard. "Fascinating," Sterling murmured. Lady Alanna paused. "I can't say I care for that tone." He chuckled. "Then tell me, why the difficulty with women? Does the man lack social graces?" "My dear fellow, I fear it's a problem of the opposite kind," she replied with more than a hint of dry amusement. "He's far too comfortable charming his way under petticoats as the fancy strikes him." Sterling nodded and placed the letter on the desk. "Then invite yourself to his balloon endeavours and bring me along. I must meet this man in order to find his match." Lady Alanna stepped through the French doors, out onto the veranda, and sipped a glass of lemonade as she watched Ethan Brodie of Brodie, 21st Thane and chief of Clan Brodie, work the bellows on the lawn of his London estate. Well over 6 feet, he was a beast of a man, square-jawed, and with blue eyes that crinkled around the corners when he laughed. She sighed. If only there were eligible women present. The way his muscles bulged under his white shirt couldn't fail to catch an eye. He was a strikingly handsome man who oozed an easy charm, a charm that had saved their lives more than once. But he'd left the King's service nigh on a year ago. Why hadn't he put his charm to good use? If she could somehow manage to drag him in front of the season's debutantes, perhaps one would manage to sink her claws in deeply enough to show the man exactly what a stable life could offer. Across the lawn, Ethan let out a shrill whistle. A handful of men rushed forward and rearranged the patched silk balloon that lay on the grass yet again. They'd tried all morning to inflate the thing, to no avail. Even Sterling had joined, a little too eagerly for Alanna's liking, and as the afternoon passed, she could only assume he'd lost sight of their original purpose. "Men," she huffed under her breath. Men and their toys. Shouts rent the air. The balloon's multicolored envelope began to lift off the lawn, struggling like a fledgling as various silk panels billowed from the hot air and smoke. The voices began to laugh, excited. Then the entire contraption deflated with an audible poof. Curses replaced the laughter as Ethan ran his hands through his thick, dark hair and wiped sweat from his brow. He clipped several curt orders, then abandoned the bellows altogether and headed her way. Sterling fell into step beside him. "Finally!" Alanna quickly took her seat at a nearby white linen-covered table. "It's the rosin. It won't hold to the seams in the salt air. I'm sure of it," Ethan was saying as they arrived. A flawless master of accents, his natural voice held the pronounced Scottish lilt of his native Scottish Highlands. "Indeed, I can only agree," Sterling mused in reply. Ethan glanced at Lady Alanna with a wide grin. "A most good afternoon, my lady. To what do I owe the honour of your visit? Surely you have not come to bully me over attending your fete sumptuous."